All right, guys, welcome to part 2 of the Monday episode with Brad and Ray. But if you have not watched it yet, make sure to go check out part 1 before you watch this one for part 2. So we go more into the Storm Report, and we also talk about 4 nations on a part 2 episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Like I said, welcome to part 2 of the Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the Everyday for making this your first listen of the day. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking everything about your Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Martin, the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hawkers, also an AHL writer at the Calder Times, co-host of the Searchcast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And without further ado, let's jump into the first segment of the part 2 edition of the Monday show of Locked On Hurricanes. My tropical storm, very simple. It's kind of almost piggybacking off of you, Ray, a little bit. It's some of the defensive plays, especially from like maybe Orlov, and I'm not going to say the whole defense. I think you do see Shane Gosper doing his thing. Sean Walker's gotten a lot better. I think for me, it's Burns and Orlov. I think Father Time has really bit these guys over the last few weeks because the Kings game for Orlov, you could tell Rod was not having it with him, especially that I think it was the first Fiala goal. It's just his play has been kind of a lot of giveaways as of late, very lazy passes. Even Burns, man, he is nowhere near his point total that he was, I think it was last season or was it 2 seasons ago, where he basically broke the record for most points for defense. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Yeah. It's nothing against them, but it's like, man, you could definitely tell Father Time is maybe catching them, but I'm not 100% on Orlov at least. Burns, you can kind of tell. It's just I'm hoping that this is kind of a trend that kind of stops here soon, because you can't keep, like you said, right, you can't keep giving these other teams chances, because there's no reason Clayton Keller should have gotten that many breakaways for the Utah. And if you do that for Utah, what's going to happen when you go against the Jets again, or Toronto, because they're in top 5 in the league, or Washington, yeah. Name insert team here who's top 5 in the league. Luckily, the Canes are top 7. Yeah. But it's just you can, and that kind of leads back. I said, you can't blame the goalies; they're getting left out to dry. It's just I'm hoping that it's a trend that's going down, but I'm hoping the trend that it doesn't have to go back up, just level out. Just get back to level playing. So it's like, okay, it's not bad. It's not trending towards depression, but you're at least in the middle. So
be good defensively, be solid defensively, and if you don't score any more points the rest of the season, fine. But you can't Brent Burns it and ice the puck 3 or 4 times in a row on a night where we're getting killed on faceoffs, and then we give up a goal in the last couple of minutes.
Right, exactly. And like I said, nothing against these guys, but I hate to word it like this.
The truth.
I hate to word it like this. Almost kind of glad those contracts are coming off the books for the offseason, because we can get a lot of money to other guys to fit in a lot more other
that was
assets.
Burns, right? Is when Burns' contract's over, he's going to be old as dirt. That's
why Orlov was 2 years, because you were waiting for the other guys to come in. Like I said, nothing against them. It's just I know what's down the pipe on defense. Yeah. Thank you for your service, but
if
just get even, finish off the season, we'll go from there.
For the Ted Lasso fans, and I've said this many, many a time, Brent Burns is Roy Kent.
Yep.
He is Roy Kent.
But just a lot nicer, though. A lot nicer, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, certainly smiles a lot more. He's got that little gap in his teeth. I mean, it's adorable, right? And he
doesn't cuss a lot either. Doesn't cuss a lot from what we know.
But he is Roy Kent. He has nothing left to prove. Nothing. He is
outside of a cup.
He is going to the Hall of Fame. In my
100%.
mind, Brent Burns is going to the Hall of Fame. He's got nothing more to prove. Just tighten up a little bit and you'll be great. But to me, he is Roy Kent. And we know at some point he's going to have to come to that realization that, you know what? Look, this break that is coming, as Brad pointed this out to me, couldn't have come at a better time for guys like Brent Burns and like Orlov and a few others, that now they can let the bodies rest a little bit, rejuvenate, and come back fierce and ready to go. There's no questioning the desire to win. Mm-hmm. There is no questioning the mentorship that he has shown all of the young players.
Oh, like, yeah, no, 100%. It's just
he is legendary. Like,
tighten it up. Yeah, all we're asking, tighten it up.
Tighten it up.
All right, Brad, what is your tropical storm?
I thought about this one a lot. And different from the one I did earlier today. On the upside, Canes have extended their sellout streak. We're up to, was it 95-ish games, something like that? I don't know.
We're very close to 100, which I'm very excited for.
Getting close to 100. But that's tickets sold and not butts and seats. And for the last several games on TV, there are big blocks of seats, especially down low, 4 or 5 seats in a row that are empty. And I don't like when teams do the like, oh, hey, we sold out because you bought the tickets yourself and gave them as free. You know what I mean? Like, not blaming the fans. I'm just saying fans, like, you need to turn out. Like, I don't think the team is the type who's going to be, doing the whole ticket, like the fake sellout thing. But, if you have 4 or 5 seats and you can't make it, like, I know you're trying to get your money back maybe on Ticketmaster with their fees and all. Someone had lost. Just do it. Like, there needs to be butts and seats, because when things like that, when people look at Toronto and there's tons of empty seats, they go, oh, they're just too expensive and the corporate guys just aren't showing up. It's all business people and they write it off. When a small market team like Carolina has empty seats, even if those tickets have been sold, it's fake fans. Like, it's not true, right?
Yeah.
But I hate whenever I tune into a game like the game yesterday. When you look through, when you're watching the game on TV, there's big, not sections, but there's 4 or 5 seats here and there and everywhere of empty seats throughout that game in the lower bowl. Some of that is Tom Dundon is raised ticket prices considerably, which I get it. Like, he's put a lot into the team, and the
renovations are expensive.
He's in it for the money. Like, we know that. He is not cheap, but he is in there to make money and spend that money on the ice. And according to the NHL, in the next few years, we could have a $113 million salary cap. So that money has to come from somewhere.
3 seasons from now, you're looking at $113 million.
So, but I'm just saying it. If you can't sell your tickets, give them away. Find friends, get somebody else into hockey. Like, we need to have people in that barn.
Yeah,
that's something as a Caniac I've always been proud of, that we could say, hey, maybe we're not selling out every night, but when we say we have 17,000 in the building, there's 17,000 in the building. Well, the announced attendance for Saturday was 1905. And must have been a lot of people standing up in the concourse is all I had to say. I mean, like I said, it's tickets sold, not butts and seats. But if you go back and look at that game, a lot of empty seats down low in those first 10 rows. And, our team is not playing as well as they have been, but 6 seasons in the playoffs, looking at the 7th season, the chance of them making the playoffs at this point is like 99.7% or something ridiculous.
I've already written out that they're going to make it. I've already written out they're going to make the playoffs. It's
show up, support them. Like,
Well, and one of the themes that we say every week when we introduce the Caniacs that join us in the Storm Cellar is that the Caniacs are the fuel to the fire. They drive especially in a place where it's no secret when Kuznetsov and Rantanen are the guys that come into here and immediately tell people, I'm so happy that I'm on the home team in this.
Oh, yeah.
They say that immediately because it's not a fun place to play, because that barn is so fierce. And when you see even the fewest amounts of empty seats, it's not a lot, but even a few, I mean, it's like having the extra man on the ice.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
It's not pervasive, but it's enough that on TV you go, oh, like there's a lot more empty seats than I thought there would be. Yeah.
I always ask about the weather when I see it. There's that text to Brad when we're watching bad weather. Like, what's going on?
Dude, I'm in Boston. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I had bad weather. I have 8 inches of snow.
Crazy, but yeah, like the Caniacs, you are the fuel of the fire. Find a way to get those tickets into someone's hands and let them take your place.
I'm just saying for Saturday, 1 p.m. game.
That's tough too. It's unusual timing, but again,
on a Saturday,
commitment to a team.
I feel like that would have been the perfect tailgating day.
Hey, I said on Searchcast, brunch and hockey, baby. There you go. Bring your mimosas and watch them hockey. That's all you need to do. Ray, drop the storm.
I'm not going to mix things up from what I said this morning. I'm staying with the same one that I did, and it's well practiced, but I believe it through and through. I'm picking Robinson. He has been right on the cusp of being Hurricane.
Okay.
Through and through. He is on that level up. He really, and you know what? I may change it a little bit. I'm going to add Taylor Hall. First of all, Hall has been the forgotten player.
Yep.
In all
of that trade. Yep.
Completely forgotten. The way everyone talks, you'd think he was never involved in the deal. And the two of those together, they need to be on the same line no matter where they play, because wow.
Them two with KK.
What?
That's a sneaky second line.
It is very sneaky. And Robinson comes to us. He's only on a 1-year contract, but where we've said in before, where you know what? Yeah, exactly. Like, get him signed up. He's not going to, break the bank signing him long term. Certainly not.
Even $2 million would be a good deal. A 3x2 or 3x3. I wouldn't be upset with a 3x3 or even 2x2.
Yeah, that would show him the love that he deserves, because he's another guy every night. Every night you see him out there. Every night. Robinson is he's on the second line, perhaps a speedier Jordan Martinook.
Yeah, not as big, but he's close to it. And like you said, right, he's making 900. Like, he's making less than $1 million. Give him $2.5, $3 million. He's got the speed. He works really well with that second line.
Yeah,
and he is 1 goal away from a career high in goals.
I know already. Does he like playing this system? Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
the best plus minus of his career.
He's like right there.
In 10 less fewer games. All those things have happened, and I think 10 less fewer games than his time in Columbus.
So, all right, guys, just a quick break, and we'll jump back into that conversation here in a second on a Monday Part 2 edition of Locked On Hurricanes. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get it on than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on the fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, guys, welcome back to segment 2 of part 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Without further ado, let's jump back into the conversation with Brad and Ray.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Love seeing him. Another lunch pail guy.
Give him that money. All right, Ray. Hurricane, what do we got?
Well, the low hanging fruit. I mean, honestly, what we spent a lot of time talking about it right off the top. Sebastian Aho, to me, for the exact reason and and this was the exact reason why, was being one of only 5 active players with 9 straight career 20 goal seasons.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, he's good. He does everything, and it's low hanging fruit, not scoring, and then all of a sudden he bursts and reminds.
Yeah, it's like he dips under a point, he is over, dips under, over. Yeah,
and he's all around there. I was very excited the way he played last year, and I believed that he could be the 100-point guy that we needed, because of course we didn't know Rotten was going to be with us, but I believe that it's only going to get better, because what's coming up in the next 2 weeks will give Aho and Rantanen a chance to play more together, get that connection. And once they click, what more are you asking for? It's low hanging fruit, and he's my guy. He's Ron Francis 2.0.
Yep.
He's Sebastian Aho through and through. He's my Hurricane. Yep. That's it.
Yep, there you go. Brad, what do we got?
I'll keep it short and sweet, because the other low-hanging fruit is Seth Jarvis.
Yeah, making it real hard. Making it hard on you.
If you can get Mikko to click with Aho and Jarvis, not even at the level they're clicking with each other, if you can get him to click at half that level, that line will just dominate. I mean,
100%.
Seth Jarvis, we've gone in all the reasons why Seth Jarvis is a Hurricane. So I'm not going to rehash it all, but the kid is playing as well as anybody that I've seen league wide in the last month. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's just phenomenal to watch him play. The fact that he's young and willing to learn and really play a 200-foot game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, I mean, and the thing is, you both stole, more so Brad stole my answer. So,
two people can have the same answer. Like we don't preclude that.
Oh, I know for sure. But you know what? Like I said, I agree with both of you. Great answers. I'm actually going to bring up another guy that really needs to get his flowers, and that's Pierre Kochetkov. He is now the second Hurricanes goaltender aged 25 or younger in franchise history to score or to record multiple 21 seasons.
Wow.
And this is a crazy support, and big shout out to Corey Laviolette for posting this guy. Gotta give him a shout out for this one. Hurricanes goalies since relocation with multiple 21 seasons. Peter Kochetkov with 2, Peter Mrazek with 2, Frederick Anderson with 2. And you gentlemen will love this. Archer's Urbe with 4 of those. Can you guys guess how many Cam Ward had with the Hurricanes with 21 seasons?
He went through some dark days.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, he was there during maybe the worst of times.
It's got to be at least. I mean, I thought, I'm thinking, I want to say 5, but that feels like a lot. The dark days I'm still traumatized with, right? So
you just blocked it out. It's like,
I tried to do that. Yeah.
All right. So Brad, what do you think? Ray's going with 5. He feels it's low. How are you feeling? Brad?
I feel like no matter what I say, I'm going to be super wrong. I'm going to say 0. I don't know. 19 wins is his most. I know that's wrong.
No. He has at least 2. He's had at least.
Oh,
2.
he has at least 2. Okay.
Yeah, he at least has 2. Yeah, so he has 2. So it's not 0. He's had 2. He's had at least 2 21 seasons.
I've certainly tried to block out most of those seasons at this point.
How many 21 seasons does Cam Ward have with the Carolina Hurricanes?
I'm gonna say he's tied with Archie. Let's say 4 then.
Boys. If you combine your answers, you get the number 9. He's had 9 20-win seasons with the Carolina Hurricanes.
I mean,
and Cam Ward.
It's to be expected, but it feels like a trick question, if that makes sense. Like, because as bad as we were, like, but you know what?
It's not on Cam, man. And unfortunately, a lot of people give Cam a lot of crap, but it wasn't him.
To be fair, as bad as we were never like lottery pick bad.
No,
you know, we were just not make the playoffs bad. And
because you had
easy. Yeah,
because you had Eric Stahl and Cam Ward, and that's all. That's the reason why. You know, those two guys. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Yes, but yeah, gotta give some shout out to Pierre Kachekov. Almost had a goalie fight, but unfortunately, we were.
I was liking the thought that he was going to throw mitts. It was even better when Seth Jarvis went and beat up on Veggie immediately afterwards.
Like that goal is just that little whoop, whoop.
Yeah,
filthy.
The NHL has been really cracking down on the goalie fights. They really, it's obvious.
There were some of the. I think Spencer Martin almost got one when the Wolves had a line brawl with Manitoba, and the goalies wanted to go, but they're like, nope, not doing that. So
didn't both of the Wolves goalies get kicked out in that game? Or no, maybe.
Yeah, no, Spencer Martin didn't. No, well, Martin did. That's
Martin
for sure.
Yeah, and then.
It's always Manitoba. Somehow Manitoba is now like Chicago Wolves goalies, and now Kochekov and Spencer Martin both got kicked out of their games. And Martin did not record the shutout since he didn't finish the game. Didn't give it to him.
Man, that's brutal.
What can you do? All right. Well, that was the Storm Report. If you, like I said, if you guys love this segment as much as I do, please, after you listen to this, go check it out on the Storm Cellar. It's fantastic. I love doing it when I'm with the guys on their show. It's so much fun. So make sure to check that out. But we're not done. We do have 4 nations to talk about. We're not going to talk super long about it because I can already tell you right now, if you're listening to this part, this is part 2. We're splitting this sucker up because this is a long one, and I just don't want to leave anything out. So when you are listening to this part of the show specifically, you will know this was part 2. So real quick, I know, Brad, you got to go, but give us your thoughts on the 4 Nations Faceoff real quick. And, of course, where can people find you in the amazing podcast before we let you go? And me and Ray will jettison off and finish off the rest of this shindig. So give us your thoughts on 4 Nations.
Quick, because this was just updated. I don't know how widespread this is. Mm-hmm. Drew Doughty is going to be in for Alex Pietrangelo for Canada
today.
You have Yokaru and Manapalo in for Finland. You have Ersson in for Sweden, and then you're going to have Sanderson.
Sanderson's going to be in.
And so big news there. Like, we know who the replacement's going to be. Crosby, I think, is still day to day. That's big news.
He is on his way to Montreal. So
he is. Okay, so hopefully he's going to play. Basically, what I have to say is, go Team Finland. I know I'm an American boy, but there's something about the Finns. There's something about the camaraderie, the way they play hockey. They're the underdog. I'll be at the Canada-Finland game here in Boston. So if anybody's coming up there, you can find me pretty much anywhere on social media. If you look up Storm Cellar 97 or Storm Cellar 97 at Gmail, on Facebook, on Blue Sky, that'll get to me. We definitely have a group coming to Boston for the 17th. So if you're coming up, let us know. We're going to try and meet up, do the fan activities ahead of time. We're going to try and grab some food, maybe at Hurricane O'Reilly's, and then catch what should be a tremendous game between the Canadians and the Finns. And if for any reason Seth Jarvis is not in the top 12 forwards for Canada, I humbly request that they send him across the aisle to play for Team Finland as an honorary Finn. So
there's a loophole somewhere. We'll figure it. Hey, we had a Team North America and a Team Europe for World Cup of Hockey.
Yeah,
why not?
If you spend at least 87 hours in the sauna since the season began, you can play for Team Finland. That's just.
I mean, he was in Finland last year over the summer for Aho's wedding, so that should count somewhere, right? So,
it should.
100%. Yeah, it should count. All right, Brad, thank you so much. I know you couldn't finish out with us, but thank you once again, as always, for coming on, sir.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Awesome.
It's funny, Zach, he leads right into my rant about the whole thing. We've been together now for 5 seasons. We've been together.
That's what I'm saying. OGs, man. You've been around longer than I've been. I've been doing podcasting since kind of 2021, but really kicked off the Hurricanes in 22. So you guys have been doing this sucker longer than I have.
And he led into my stance on this, and I've said it in virtually every platform that's available. Okay. In the Four Nations, of course, I'm cheering for Canada.
Of course.
We're born cheering for Canada. I mean, honestly, that's the way it goes. However, if for some reason Hockey Canada and the people that are running Team Canada for this event do not have Seth Jarvis in the top 12 forwards, if they sit him, first of all, I riot. And second of all, Team Canada will deserve to be in last place. Last place. They would deserve to lose. And I would be joining Brad cheering for Finland, to be perfectly honest. Seth Jarvis, if they have not, I mean, they selected him, and so many people were dumping on the selection, suggesting that there were so many other players. Why Seth Jarvis? Why Seth Jarvis? If you haven't been watching in the past month, frankly, if you haven't been watching his entire career, that's the problem. You haven't been watching him. You don't know what he brings to the ice every night and for his entire career. And he has now that he has a chip on his shoulder. You'd never guess it by the how lighthearted he is and, all the rest of it. But it's as though he's got something to prove to Hockey Canada, who left him off in juniors for the World Junior Championship. And he is just, you want, especially when you're playing best on best, you need players that can play the 200-foot game, who are Swiss Army knives, who can go into any situation and be effective. I'm telling you right now, Cirelli, who is like, I'm not suggesting that Seth Jarvis needs to be on the top line in favor of Sid, or
at least the top 9, somewhere in the top 9 at least.
Just anywhere on the top 12, and he would be happy for it too. I believe he should be on, like, the strength of Team Canada for nations is in its forwards, the plethora. When you think about, like, just a step away from Seth just for a second.
Oh yeah.
When you hear the idea of Sid Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, and Connor McDavid all on the same line, do you want any part of that from any nation? You don't want any part of that. That is the very, very best of the best.
My whole thing with that line too is, like, you're talking 3 centers all in the same line together. That, I mean, it's not really going to matter because they can pretty much do it all. I'm just because you would think that if you had them all down the middle, I don't know what other nation talks about a 1-2-3 center line with those 3, but they're going to put them all on the first line. It's definitely going to be very hard for a lot of teams, but it's like, it's gonna be interesting to have 3 centers on the same line together.
Well, it's funny too, because they have Seth Jarvis listed as a center. If you look at the whole thing, I mean, and because he can take face-offs too. I mean, we see it all the time.
I find it very weird to put him as a center. I'm like he hardly. I mean, he's not
hardly
really.
Ever. He only plays center in the face.
He's a wing center more than center wing, but
exactly, no question. But Seth Jarvis was selected to that team legitimately. Brad Marchand, who I despise.
On the ice, he's a pest. Off the ice, he is. I mean, he's a great guy off the ice. Yeah, he was one of the guys who said immediately, "Man, Seth Jarvis, that's fantastic. That's a great pick. It's going to be a joy to play with him. You're going to love it." And Brad Marchand, like you said, on the ice, his pest, he does what he does, and that's him. But the man's got clout, and he knows hockey, and he's played the best in the world before.
And if you get flowers from someone like that, you have to listen. You have to listen. And you just, to me, the natural selection for Team Canada, you swap out Cirelli, who's having a good season and stuff with the Lightning,
Right.
is talented and is great, but Seth Jarvis has earned his way into that top 12, and he has to be there. Has to. Canada wants any hope, because Canada, their worst aspect is their goaltending. They have serious issues there. They are nowhere near the same level. Look, and it's terrible because I'm besmirching, Hill and Binnington and Montembeault, who are all.
I mean, they're no Logan Thompson though, and the fact that Boer and I forget who the other guy is that left him off because of their bad experience in Vegas. I'm sorry, DeBoer is with Dallas now. That really should not matter with how everything happened in Vegas. Logan Thompson's one of the top 5 goalies in the league right now. Like, he is absolutely he's the reason why the Capitals are so good.
Yeah.
Outside of OV and PLDs kind of showed up in Dylan Strome, but to leave off one of the top 5 goalies because of your personal reasons, Ray, as you know this, Team Canada loves getting in their own way over personal beefs rather than having the best guys on the ice. And World Juniors, man, that is a tough pill to swallow. And when you're hosting the thing and you don't even medal, you don't even make it into the semis. That's how bad it is. And the fact that you leave off a guy like Logan Thompson and now you're and like you said, Bennington's okay. He hasn't really been the guy that helped the Blues go win a cup. No, Montembeault on the team that's trying to be named. And it's just.
But you're right. Like Thompson not being there, like why? Like of all of the questions about your selections,
and like
before putting Seth Jarvis on, let's just.
Because you look at goaltending. I mean, the USA is probably the one of the most stacked goalie trios. Is absolutely unreal. How you got the fact you got Hellebuck and Ottinger, and that's just 2 of the guys that we've even mentioned. And it's very tough. So like I said, Team USA, probably one of the teams that are more depth-wise. Absolutely unreally stacked. Defense, I don't think USA has pretty much lost. I don't think they've maybe lost one guy. Maybe I don't think they've even lost anyone off their roster at all. I know Finland's lost a bunch. Canada's lost a couple. I think Sweden's lost a couple too, but I would say everyone's counting out. They're counting out Finland. I think they could shock a lot of people because of the fact that the way they play, and Finland's always a team that's always surprising people. Like, oh, they're not going to do anything, and they're always there in the World Juniors. I mean, they've won it a bunch in the last couple decades. I mean, let's be honest. Like the 16 World Juniors with. With Aho and all of them absolutely lighting it up. And then, or before that, I forget when it was, but they were absolutely unreal. Sweden's got their guys. No Markstrom. That's gonna be tough for how Sweden's gonna figure that one out. So I think it's probably you're maybe lucky. If Canada could basically just beat the brakes off and score like 70 goals a game, maybe they might get lucky, but that's gonna be tough when you're facing best on best. I will say this though. It's going to be fun to watch. I think USA probably has the better chance out of the 4 teams, but I think Finland's going to be the dark horse surprise team. But I would not I think Sweden might be the team that's like, okay, if it's not USA, it might be Sweden. I'm not saying Canada is going to finish last, but I think they're going to struggle more of stopping goals from happening with probably the weakest goalie trio out of the entire tournament. But I want to ask you this. All right, guys, stick around as we will go into one last break, and then we'll go into the last part of part 2. So stick around as we'll do that here in a second on a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored job post. Your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, well, Indeed is all you need. All right, guys, welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Without further ado, let's finish up the rest of the episode of part 2 with Ray right now. Favorite jersey and your least favorite jersey. And I want to shock a lot of people with my answers, but I want to hear yours. Best and worst.
Suomi is the best one. Finland's is
so
the best.
clean. That one. And the fact that it's their home and road, like it's just one jersey and that's it. And it's like, hey, only team going white and it worked perfect.
I love it. In fact, there is an Aho one on the way for me.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in the slightest.
Well, but to where now I checked to ensure that there was no cultural appropriation. There is no Finnish blood in my bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
I am nowhere near. I wanted to make sure I got the okay from a couple of wonderful Finnish people that said, no, it's all right. In fact, we have a lot of people that do that. And this is going to sound, it never comes out right, but it's the best way that I can describe Finland for me.
I know you're going with this.
I've always looked at them as Canada Light. They play the game the right way. There is nothing to hate about the way they play. They work so hard, and it's we, not me. That is who they are. And that speaks to my soul. That's what I love about teams. That's what I love about the Hurricanes and the culture that they've created now. That is Finland through and through. If there is a worst one, I only call it worst because it's pretty plain. I'm not terribly happy with the Team Canada one. I'm not terribly happy.
Okay.
It's the Swedes, the Tre Kronor. I'm sure I said that wrong.
The Three Crowns are very nice. Yeah.
They are nice. I like them, but yeah, that's probably my worst. And just because you've always seen it. I mean, it looks good, but if we're talking best to worst, they're all very close.
Yeah. There's no it's not a far separation. It's just
no.
I mean, it's just like certain details.
A, B, C, and D. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I would definitely. I like Sweden's because the Three Crowns on the yellow. It's iconic. But I like the fact if you look at the sleeve piping, it looks like the Swedish flag. I like how every team has got its own details. Finland's has got their own details. Canada's got theirs as well. I love the crest. I think that's probably the best Canada crest they've done in a while.
Yeah,
it's tough because it's I love Sweden because it's just iconic. I do like Finland's because it's just the fact that it's the white. It just works really well. The fine details in the sleeves are so faint, but if you look closely, they're amazing. I want to shock a lot of people. I do like some details in the sleeves for the USA jerseys. I think those are probably the most boring of the four, in my opinion. It's just USA across the front. It's not really because they used to do the whole shield with the eagle and stuff like that. It's hard to do USA in a way that works. It's just because you can't do the flag because it's kind of boring. I wish there was a way you can make USA jerseys look like okay, these are legit, or because there's ones where USA diagonal that could work. Yeah. There's some of the World Junior jerseys have been phenomenal that they've used. Agreed. I just kind of I wish they would tap into the World Juniors concept of how they look and bring it out here. I like the fact they got the Latin in the sleeves. That's dope. It's just with that silver and the red and the blue. To be honest, the Blue Jackets Stadium Series jerseys almost look better than the USA ones. And I hate to say that because I mean obviously from the States, it's just. It's the details are fine. It's just the front of the jersey. It says USA. It's all blue, a little bit of striping, but it's I'm not seeing a dynamic of Yeah, I understand with Canada because it's all red with like
Yeah.
a couple stripes of white, and that's really about it. The crest
Yeah.
is what makes it look amazing. I think Sweden and Finland did it the right way, where they're tapping into like this is like this is us, but the
Yeah.
way they did the detailing, incorporating with that, and the numbers on the back,
Yeah,
especially
the
Finland's,
fonts,
the numbers are just
the fonts are great, aren't they? Like it's really, really
yeah,
good.
it's
You
like I
know
said,
what?
nothing against the States, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
You know what? When I think of the USA and you spoke diagonally, that immediately takes me back to the Miracle on Ice, and
Yeah,
that
like,
the
there's
way
just-
it was back then. That was beautiful, and that would have been nice to pay a homage of sorts.
Yeah, I
To,
would say it's just the world junior jerseys have been so killer for the USA the last
sharp.
decade. Yeah, it's just like I kind of wish you tapped into that instead of just the basic, or even like their logo is like USA Hockey. It's got like the swooping A and the stars. Like there's other way. It's just having USA in that font. It's just kind of like it's USA, but it's like
Yeah,
a
Zach,
little bit more. But
Zach, can I put you on the spot for a second?
sure, why not?
about Four Nations, we'll make it quick. Can you explain to me why there's this undercurrent of people not caring about it, no excitement? Can you explain that to me? I don't get it. This, when you think about what it could be, which is the All-Star game, and the All-Star game, let's face it, you know what, that and Brad has said this many, many a times.
Yeah.
The All-Star game is an event it's better when you're there live.
I get to test that as someone who was there for the 2011 one was in Raleigh. Yeah, it was fantastic.
It's amazing. But when you're watching it from the outside and whatever, it's too theatrical, too long, too whatever. This whole tournament, and even though it leaves out Russia, come on, Putin, just get the heck out of the Ukraine, right? So we can have Russia back in the contest, please. Like, come on.
Yeah. The fact you have Germany, you don't have the Czechs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of great teams that are being left out in this, but this is best on best. And we haven't had that for so long. And I have I'm so excited for this. And I'm going to watch every game. The ones, even when Canada's not involved, doesn't matter. I want to watch this because this is the best hockey has to offer in the world.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So for the All-Star,
excited.
Yeah, I think for the All-Star game, I always say this. I think the American Hockey League, the AHL, does a phenomenal job with their All-Star game because it's not all these like, oh, we're going to play cards. We're going to do this like these weird obstacle courses. We're not going to like try to shoot the puck from the stands. It's just got, like you said, it's too theatrical. The AHL does it in a way where it's okay. There's a relay that goes like three guys, and then it goes into singles, and then it's like, okay, now we're going to do accuracy, which the NHL does. They also do the hardest shot. But then they do you have three guys on the rush coming down, and can they score against the goalie when there's three guys coming at them, or it's a shootout relay where you have like five guys go back to back to back to back, and you see how many saves the goalies can make, and then it's like, all right, here's the goalie award, here's the MVP of this and stuff like that. But they have the glasses down on the sides too, so the guys fans can get autographs during the sessions. It's just they bring a little bit more excitement of whoever wins, here you go, here's the points, rather it's just a guy. It's if anyone watches the AHL skills comp, I think you can see where there's more of an excitement there, rather than AHL. The AHL is they get in their own way in terms of how do we present this, and plus the guys really just, it seems like they don't really care as much either. I miss the division thing. The AHL does the division thing too, but they do it in a way where it's okay, it makes sense. It is 3-on-3 for their game too, but it's like you can kind of feel more of more of the excitement. I miss the North America versus the Worlds, or it's just this whole division Robin thing. It's just
go even further back, the Campbell Conference and go further back.
Just go conference on conference. Just do that. It's something.
When you saw those back in the day, there was actually checking. Like
it's
body checks and real like people that cared about the game way back. Now we've got Kucherov who couldn't be bothered to even participate in the.
I think
that's how awful it's become. And Four Nations was a perfect substitute.
Right. So now I go into this part. So I think TV-wise, I think people are going to try to tune as much as they can. I think the start times are fine. You see them advertising for it. I think the toughest part is the fact that jerseys, I think, kind of play into it. They are insanely expensive.
They are.
And you cannot get every guy. Like they have like 2 guys they pick out total. And then you got to pay more for the custom, which is absolutely insane. And there's no breakaways. It's all authentics. Like okay, what if I don't have $250, $500 to spend? I want to get the 175s or even the $200 Fanatics.
Yeah.
Can't get those. So now you're pricing fans out of getting jerseys.
Yeah.
And then from what I've seen on Ticketmaster and all these ticket prices, last row nosebleeds, over $500. You're outpricing fans at arenas. Yeah. So I think that's kind of in the fact that like, okay, there's some guys who are maybe out like, oh, I can't play in the Four Nations because I'm not feeling 100%, but they still play like 25, like Bertangelo. I'm not playing in Four Nations. Yeah. Goes and plays 25 minutes the next night. That's kind of you're kind of feeling like, okay, are these guys really going to care? Like, is Four Nations really going to be that much better, even in its best on best? Like, what type of are we going to get like intense hockey, or is this more just a glorified? Here's 5-on-5. You might get a little something, but what it's like because we haven't seen this in a while. So like, what are we essentially getting out of this? But for the fact that you're pricing people out very badly at the arena, which is terrible. Yeah. There's no reason you're talking $500 for the cheapest seats. TV, I think people are going to be able to watch it. I know it's like on TNT, Max, and all. So you have a bunch of different places where you can watch. It's just I'm curious of how that's going to work with streaming and all that because now people have cable. And like I said, and I know it's maybe just a minute thing, or maybe it's like maybe jerseys shouldn't be that big of a reason, but I think it kind of plays into a little bit because you want to get these jerseys for these guys, but you have to go to look to like these other sites to try to get them cheaper, but like it's hard to
the thing that you just described. Someone needs to tell that everyone wears an extra small jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when the numbers that they have are 42 to 60. Yeah. And the fact that they have 42 left over, that's for kids.
And the thing with 60 is like that's more of like a triple XL, but it's like a slim triple X. It's not like triple X. It's It's not worse like a play. Like, for me personally, it's not complaining on my side of things. So you're a guy, stocking and stuff like that. But it's like if you want to be able to get fans to get jerseys, fine. It's just you have the breakaways for a reason. Why aren't you doing breakaways for these? But it's like, okay, it's only authentics. But then your authentics are very pricey authentics, if that makes sense. It's like $250 to $500.
And that's a lot of bones. There's no question. You know what? And I'll circle back to something when you mentioned about the style of play. I think the two cannot miss games if you can't watch them all. If you're not going to be like me and just watch them all and be there. Right interested. If there's only two, it's Canada, US, and it's Finland, Sweden.
Yeah.
Those are the games that you watch. I wonder a little bit if the franchises are concerned about this and maybe leaning on a couple of players or whatever, that even if they have the smallest of nicks, maybe it would be better that you play, because we got to look down the road. And a lot of players who like Pietrangelo, He stepped out, played 25 minutes the next. That's for his team. He needs to keep himself, like, what if he gets in? That's the biggest concern I think that everyone has.
Yeah,
Imagine Seth Jarvis for a second being in the top 12 and somehow, blows a tire and hurts.
Knock on wood,
right?
Wood I get what you're saying too. Yeah, it's that weird, like,
yeah.
How do you make the? Yeah, and I think this plays into it too. So I think this plays into one last part for this before we wrap up. I think it's how do I put this? People have already come to the conclusion of what this might look like for a final. Because Canada's really stacked outside of goaltending.
Yeah.
USA, very stacked. I don't think they've lost anyone. I don't think they've lost anyone on their roster. Finland's lost a lot of guys. Sweden's lost a lot of guys.
Yep.
Are they as stacked? Probably not. Call a spade here. But I think one of them could easily surprise. I'm thinking maybe some people are turned off because they're thinking we already know how this is going to play out.
Yeah. Foregone conclusion argument.
I'm not saying that. I'm just guessing. No, I can see that. Yeah,
I'm with you. There's a lot of reasons why people are stepping away from it for the ones.
I'm excited for it because it's best on best. Like I'm excited for it. I might not catch every single one, but I'm going to try to catch as many as I can.
And
it's just good to see. It's just
watch USA, Canada, watch Finland, Sweden. Those will be the games that you absolutely want to catch. And you are absolutely right. Best team lineup paper-wise it is the U.S. They are the deepest. They are the strongest all the way through. But that's why you got to play the games, right?
Exactly.
Paper, you got to play the games. And
it's just how are you going to fit the style? It's all about style fits.
It's going to work. It's going to be so great.
It is. It's just I mean, there's I don't know why people are turned off, but I'm excited for it. They've been promoting the absolute. They've promoted this more than the Winter Classic. It's just
they did, but they waited a long time before they started.
The NHL recently, they've waited too long to get jerseys out. Like the Stadium Series jerseys took forever. Like the Winter Classics took forever. Stadium Series, it took like almost a month until before. Even for us, when it was Canes Caps, you're talking what? I only got lucky because of the fact that it got express shipping, or I had friends who were able to get it at the store and they could just send it to me. That's basically how it was for me. It's like, hey, can you go to the eye, pick it up? Cool, great, thanks, and just go grab it.
Yeah.
So it's just they take too long to get jerseys out, and it's like, all right, you might get it by the time it starts, maybe. And then, like I said, hopefully you get the guy that you want.
Yeah,
and if you want to pay the money for it, the NHL gets in their own way as per usual. But
they do. Look,
that's a whole different discussion.
It is. It absolutely is. Sorry, I can
no, you're good. No, I'm just saying. Yeah, it is. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah,
that's how crazy it is.
Usually, how it goes on the Storm Cellar. We can end up anywhere. We have an idea of what we want to talk about, but we could end up anywhere. And certainly, this has been a blast. I'm so thankful for you to bring both Brad and I on to have. I mean, you're doing an amazing job with this. Kudos to you, honestly. We look at guys like you who are working so hard, man. Beautiful. Thank you for having us join. Truly.
Oh, no, of course. Thank you. I'm just glad you guys were able to come on. And Sunday was the best day to get you both on, and kicking off a great week of just the guests that we got lined up. We got you guys for the Monday show now, which is a two-parter. The second part's gonna be longer than the first part. So if you stuck around for part one and part two on the same day, especially part two, where it's like pretty doubling of what part one is, kudos to you guys. Thank you for listening. Wade Minner is gonna be on for Tuesday's show. Andrew Rinaldi is going to be on for Wednesday's Wolves Wednesday episode. I haven't done a Wolves Wednesday in a bit. Going to love having Andrew Rinaldi on. And then Thursday, Dan LaTaraka is going to be on the podcast and getting his transition from the Canes to Zoom, get his insights of being a fan now and all this other good stuff. So, yeah, and it's just me on Friday, but you know what? Monday, that's whatever. Monday through Thursday, guys, you got to be here. Like, what a way to kick off the first week of Four Nations break. Storm Cellar, Wade Minner, Andrew Rinaldi, Dan LaTaraka.
Wow.
Talk about a good first week to kick off the break.
That's rarefied air that you're putting us in. I certainly appreciate the compliment. And
hey, OGs, man, I told you. Hey, kick it off with you boys. Oh, what a way to start a week.
Man, I love it. Thank you so much.
No, of course, but before I let you go, Ray, where can people find you on the socials?
Brad nailed it. You look up anywhere Storm Cellar 97 and you'll find us. Send us a message. We love the Caniacs. We focus on the Caniacs first before we talk about the team, because and they're all over the world, and that's the best part. It's for me, it's hearing everyone's stories and how they became fans to begin with, if they are generational Hurricane fans that have been with the team all along, or if they migrated and joined us for whatever reason, or how they got to us. It doesn't matter. We love to hear your story. Drop us a line. We'll get you in there. We love opening up the Storm Cellar. You can pull up a chair and we'll talk about hockey. We'll talk about your love of the game, why you love the Hurricanes, and it's just a great and it's a family program. So we do our best to that's another thing. They're meaningful to some. I mean, some people just want to hear the facts, and it can be colorful, and we can be colorful at times. We just know the mic's always on and we never go that far.
Yeah.
But it's great. And please join us. Have a listen. Join us anytime. Drop us a line. We'll fit you in. It's great.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
No, definitely, for sure. And great podcast. After the 2 parts, make sure to go check them out. Always a great time. I'm always honored when they give me the invite, because I don't know why you want this guy on, but hang on.
No, man. Holy cow. Glad to have you on. And doors always open.
Well, I appreciate it.
We almost have a lazy boy set up for you in the
Hey, fans. Hey, you know what? Fantastic. I'll take it.
You, right?
Hey.
Only for you.
Hey, I'll gladly take that. No problem. Love to hear that. Hey, you know what? Always good to have my own seat. That's for sure.
You betcha.
But yeah, guys, definitely check them out. And they're an amazing group to listen to. But in terms of this show specifically, well, that is the 2-part mega super special with Brad and Ray from the Storm Cellar. If you've gotten to this part, you've already heard it for part 1. You're going to hear this for part 2. Check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Become a fantasy hockey expert and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. You want to keep up with me? One True Zach on X. Podcast is _Hurricanes. I'm also on Blue Sky at the Zachary Martin. I do have link trees in both my bios where you can check out all of my articles at the Hawkers, everything and anything, and talk about your Carolina Hurricanes mixed with a little Chicago Wolves as well. If you want to check out my other AHL content, Caller Times, callertimes.com. Very great to do that over there. You want to check out my other podcast. I'm also on the Surgecast, talking more Carolina Hurricanes on there. It's a weekly show. Love doing it over there. Always a great time. For this show, well, Locked On Hurricanes on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, iHeartRadio. Follow, subscribe, leave a 5-star review. I might just read it on the show. If you're on YouTube, Locked On Hurricanes, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss the show. Thumbs up to let me know if you like the show as well. Share with all other Caniacs who become everydayers just like you. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the 2-part Monday special with Brad and Ray from the Storm Cellar. Hope everyone enjoys their Monday as we are just waiting ever so patiently for Wednesday to kick off for Nations. And until next time, guys, as always, let's go. And I know Brad, I know you, Ray, I know you'll say this part. Canes.